Welcome back to Network Africa. You know, you can watch the program on m.channelstv.com from your mobile device. You can also watch us on youtube.com/channels web. We advise all our viewers outside West Africa to watch from their mobile device or laptop by logging on to m.channelstv.com. Download the Channels TV app on Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. The members of the Security Council have condemned in the stronger terms the attack on the 1st of November 2015 perpetrated by al-Shabaab against the Sahafi Hotel in Mogadishu, Somalia, which resulted in a number of deaths and injuries. They expressed their deep sympathy and condolences to the families of the victims, as well as the people and government of Somalia. The members of the Security Council wished a speedy recovery to those injured. Well, I spoke to AU's head of policy development, peace and operations, Jide Okeke, earlier. He confirmed the AMISOM is regrouping and intensifying its strategies in a bid to quell the al-Shabaab menace in the region as soon as possible.
We are still investigating this incident, and what we can say currently is that on Sunday, 1st of November 2016, from about 5:40 a.m. in the morning, al-Shabaab militants carried out an attack against the Sahafi Hotel, which is in Mogadishu. We still do not know and do not have any established evidence regarding the number of casualties that were recorded in these attacks. But this is very typical of the continued threat posed by al-Shabaab in Somalia.
Right, but there are reports that al-Shabaab attacked that hotel during the day, which is very much the time at which they attacked it is like a change in strategy in what they're used to, and according to them, they're trying to reduce civilian casualties. Is this an intelligence that AMISOM is privileged to?
It doesn't matter what time of the day or night that al-Shabaab strikes, as long as they continue to strike or attack civilian infrastructures, like the hotel which was attacked. I think there is no basis for any argument that they were trying to prevent civilian casualties. So their argument simply fits into their usual propaganda, and I would encourage us not to buy into that.
And then I would like to ask you about AMISOM's intelligence, and I understand that you've done a great work putting up an offensive against al-Shabaab generally. But, I mean, these attacks keep coming up. They keep coming up every now and then. Are there strategies put in place to, repel these attacks completely as soon as possible?
Okay. Al-Shabaab, like most terrorist groups, tend to undertake or change their tactics when they are undergoing or facing a lot of pressure militarily. In the last few months, the African Union mission in Somalia has commenced a new phase and conducted a new phase in our operation around the Juba corridor in Somalia. And this has led to al-Shabaab changing its tactics in order to ensure its potency or effectiveness. So what we are seeing today is a struggle by the terrorist military victory that we have continued to melt against this terrorist group. However, military victory would not be a solution in itself, and that is why the African Union mission in Somalia is undertaking three broad priorities in Somalia today in order to address the security threat. The first is that we are already working very closely with the federal government of Somalia in establishing very strong security institutions. That is the premise upon which we are developing our own exit strategy outside of Somalia. The second is that we are putting in place robust structures in support of the government of Somalia.
Well, you've been listening to the AU's head of policy development, peace and operations, Jide Okeke, speaking to me earlier on what next the group plans to do, AU plans to do in keeping Somalia safe and away from the attacks of the militants al-Shabaab. Let's take a short break on Network Africa, and when we come back, the dust is yet to settle over Zanzibar's cancelled elections. His main opposition party leader holds talks with service chiefs.
If you want to know what's trending or you miss your favorite live shows, you can watch it all on our YouTube channel. Simply log on to www.youtube.com/channelsweb. Scroll down to your favorite program and click play. You can also view all uploaded videos by clicking on View All. Don't forget to subscribe and get the latest videos. If they are interesting, like them and be heard. Get connected with the channel's television YouTube page. The news at your fingertips.
Welcome back to Network Africa. Zanzibar's president has decided to extend his term in office after elections on the semi-autonomous Tanzanian archipelago were cancelled last week by the electoral chief, citing fraud. Ali Mohammed Shein's term in office was due to expire on Monday, November the 2nd, 2015. He was seeking re-election as the ruling CCM's candidate. His rival, Sheikh Sharif Hamad, has declared himself the winner of the 25th October vote. Well, outgoing leader, however, says he is mediating to find a peaceful outcome. Over the weekend, 2 small bombs exploded on the main island of Zanzibar, but no casualties were reported. Meanwhile, the main opposition leader in that election says he will meet the country's army chief to discuss the political situation in the islands. Well, anti-government protesters in Niger Republic are calling for more transparency in the voters' registers list. Thousands of anti-government protesters marched in Niger's capital on Sunday to denounce what they say are irregularities in voter lists ahead of presidential elections in early 2016. They carried banners with slogans such as "The people stand up for clean elections" and "No to dictatorship." And now they're demanding a full audit of the electoral register. Niger, a poor uranium-producing country in the Sahel band of West Africa, is set to hold presidential elections in February, with President Mahamadou Issoufou expected to seek a second 5-year mandate. Issoufou, a key Western ally against radical Islamist groups, is widely expected to triumph over a fragmented opposition to win a second mandate. Well, let's take you through stories making the headlines here in Nigeria. The outcry of the people of the southeast states, particularly Anambra State, over the erosion ravaging the area may have received the attention of federal lawmakers as the Senate Committee on Environment has commenced an inspection of the affected sites. This follows the motion moved by the senator representing Anambra Central Senatorial Zone, Uche Ekunife, calling for immediate intervention by the federal government on the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway, which has collapsed completely. This leader of the delegation, which has also visited Abia State, Senator Barnabas Gemade, expressed surprise at the extent of dilapidation caused by erosion in the state.
We have seen and we make a report back, and I'm sure that Senate will make strong recommendations to the various agencies that are responsible, and something will be done about this as quickly as possible to save this highway. This is one of the most important highways in this country, and nothing will be left undone to ensure that it does not get completely cut off, as the erosion is extremely threatening on the structures of the highway.
That'll be all on Network Africa at this time, but before I let you go, you know your feedback is very important to us. Last week we asked you what kind of app would you like to see created in Africa, and what kind of solution would you want it to solve? And guess what you said? I'm really going to take one because we're very pressed for time. Here is what Emmanuel Victor says. It's coming up right on your screen. It says, I'd very much like to see an app that predicts the exact time that there will be power failure at different locations. Emmanuel Victor says, I would very much like to see an app that predicts the exact time that there will be power failure at different locations. Well, this is such a big challenge for app creators around Africa. If they say nothing is impossible, then that app is definitely not an impossible task. Well, that will be all on our show at this time. Thank you so much for watching. I am Adeshawa Josh, and I'll see you tomorrow.